Hello, this is Evangelist Dr. Robert L. McKim Sr. from Carrollton, Ohio. First off, I want to mention that yesterday while Renee and I was gone, we wasn't home because she had a doctor's appointment, and then we had to both go get our allergy shots, do some other errands yesterday. So while we were gone, someone attempted at 11:40 a.m., which is actually when we was at her doctor's office, to request an account key to get into one of my Yahoo accounts, into my Yahoo accounts. Which of course they didn't get it because it went to my email that I have linked to my Yahoo accounts. Another thing too I wanted to mention while we were gone, the deputy sheriff that is working on my case because of all this stuff going on called me after contacting the real police out there in Oregon, out there in Hillsboro, Oregon. Not no fake police like that email I received saying, yeah, they know Charlie Stone. They've had many run-ins with Charlie Stone, and they were going to talk to Charlie Stone. So there is another Charlie Stone out there. So hopefully this will get that Charlie Stone, or whoever he wants to be, off my back. I also want to mention real quick too that yesterday there have been threats received against Jewish community centers across the country. One of them is in Columbus, Ohio, and there was also another one in Cincinnati that I heard as well. Received threats, bomb threats. And someone had mentioned in one of my videos that Paul Begley is a scam artist. Who is he scamming? How is preaching the truth scamming anybody? Just because it goes against, because the truth goes against your biblical belief system that is really flawed to begin with? Have you studied the Hebrew? Have you studied the Greek? Have you studied really what God's Word really means? Are you after God's own heart, like David was? So who is he scamming? And he's preaching the truth as well. And you hate the truth. Even a lot of Christians out there hate the truth. They don't want to hear what is going to happen to them, because they want only to believe that they're going to be rescued out of this world before anything happens. Evidently, they forget this is Minor Prophet. Where he's talking about the great day of the Lord. This is a New King James Version. The great day of the Lord is near. It is near and hastens quickly. The noise of the day of the Lord is bitter. There the mighty men shall cry out. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of devastation and desolation, the day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of trumpet and alarm against the fort-filled cities, against the high towers. I will bring distress upon men, and they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against God. Their blood shall be poured out like dust, and their flesh like refuge. Neither their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in the day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he will make speedy riddance of all those who dwell in the land. Now, this is talking about Israel, but it's also talking about the world, the evil in the world. And the New Living Translation, I will read that as well. The terrible day of the Lord is near. Swiftly it comes, a day of bitter tears, a day when even strong men will cry out. It will be a day when the Lord's anger is poured out, a day of terrible distress and anguish, a day of ruin and desolation, a day of darkness and gloom, a day of clouds and darkness, a day of trumpet calls and bitter cries. Down goes the walled cities, and the strongest battlements, because you have sinned against the Lord. I will make you grope around like the blind. The blood will be poured out into the dust, and the bodies will lie rotten on the ground. Your silver, your gold will not save you on that day, the Lord's anger, for the whole land will be devoured by the fire of his jealousy. He will make terrifying end of all the people on earth. Now, reading this, Of course, it almost sounds like what happened on 9/11, September the 11th, 2001, when the towers fell. People were walking around like blind people. Strong men cried out. It was a day of ruin and desolation, a day of darkness and gloom. Bodies, well, were in the rubble. I mean, they became rubble. People's bodies just became rubble. Their blood was poured out into the dust. Just like it says here in this prophecy. God's word is true. We are living in the last days. There is a new world order, and it is not getting any better, especially for the believers. Donald Trump is going to be inaugurated here in a couple of days. Well, actually, a day now. Because today's Thursday, and he'll be inaugurated Friday morning. He stands for Christians. And Christian beliefs and Christian values. But what can he do to stop the secret government agencies that is wanting to shut people like me and Paul Begley and others up from saying, hey, there's a new world order coming? Actually, it's not coming. I mean, it's here now, actually. It's a slow process. Take, for instance, healthcare. Everybody there for a while, okay, we have healthcare now that covers everyone, even with pre-existing conditions, and they need to keep that in the law because insurance companies need to cover even the sick, the ones who are born with a disability or have the genes where they're going to have diabetes or heart trouble or cancer. Insurance companies need to wake up and realize not everybody is healthy. Insurance is supposed, if you pay an insurance company money, then they should be there to help you. But no, they don't want to help you. They just want to take your money and hope for the best you don't get sick. Now, who is the real scam artists? It's the insurance companies. the insurance companies and the many different medical companies out there. They're scam artists as well. They hide behind their policies. Renee got a bill the other day in the mail for a procedure that her doctor wanted her to have. It was called a pulse oximetry test, where she had to wear a device on her wrist and on her finger to track her pulse and oxygen level. But the funny thing is, she had the same test done in August of 2015, and she had CareSource back then, which they have on this information that it considers it private insurance, but yet it's also a managed care for Medicaid. It's a managed care company for Medicaid. So they get the money from Medicaid. We didn't pay CareSource out of our own pocket. So it's not really a private insurance. It was Medicaid. And they still had to go by Medicaid guidelines. So they paid for that back in 2015, this test. She never got a bill from them at all. And then the second test that she did, right here in the form that the lady at the medical place where I picked up the device, she said, Renee, you make sure Renee dates this, sign this, and date it again when you turn in the device. I'm like, okay. Well, we didn't really read it because she was very adamant that Renee had to do it. Well, right here in the yellow right here, can't really see the yellow too much, says, if I am deemed ineligible by Medicare, well, she don't have Medicare, or other insurance carriers. Well, okay, wait a minute. Or other insurance carriers. She has Medicaid. She's not ineligible for Medicaid, to which this company called Virturox Incorporated submits a claim on my behalf, then I understand that I may be billed $39. The way this says here that if I am deemed ineligible by Medicare or any other insurance carriers, that tells me that, well, if you're ineligible for Medicaid, then you have to pay $39. But yet, wait a minute. Here's the kicker. This company, on the back of the bill, all the way down here at the bottom, of number 5, I have Medicaid. Virturox does not participate with any Medicaid plans, and therefore we are unable to submit claims on your behalf. That is not in the paperwork that Renee signed. The way it says there, if she is ineligible for any insurance, then she has to pay it. She is eligible for Medicaid, but this company doesn't participate with Medicaid. They lie. Who's the scam artists? Who is the scam artists? Think about it. It is the insurance companies and it's companies like this that scam people out of their money that they don't have to pay and they shouldn't have to pay. That's why I'm suing them, if it comes right down to it. Because this is a scam. That's all this is. It's a scam. That paper reads like, hey, if she's not eligible, but she is eligible for Medicaid, but they don't take Medicaid. But they took CareSource. Who is the scam artist? Who is the scam artist? Who's scamming who? I read God's Word and I tell people that we are living in the last days. And people who are on Medicaid are getting cheated and scammed. And there are people out there who hates the truth. And they think I'm an idiot. Who is the real idiot? God bless you. Have a blessed day.